Hey everybody, it's Chad, nobody else's auto. 7:30 Sunday evening, time for some more Gearhead Interact live chat. Looks like we are connected on Facebook and YouTube both, hopefully, in theory. Facebook was a bit of a challenge to set up again tonight, but finally got it to go just at the last second. Just getting ready to abort the mission. It finally went. But Kevin L's here and ready to go. Kevin Brown's here and ready to go. Pete's on with us. Matt's back. Anyway, as always, things happening, things going on. Weather finally starting to cooperate, which was kind of nice. Number one's here. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. We've got, I've seen a lot of you guys this afternoon. Jeff from Ottawa's here. We did go ahead and jump on and do a yard walk today. You guys have been, there's Brian Dispatch, been asking about it. And the last one we did was, of course, was New Year's Day. We always try to do one on New Year's Day if the weather cooperates. So been a few months, thought it'd be time to slide one in. So we got that in this afternoon. I thought the weather was going to be a little more cooperative than it was. The wind was starting to kick up pretty good by the time we actually got done. But you guys said it was all good, didn't have a lot of wind noise. But so fortunately that went well today. Jim's here. Then, so if you missed that, you can go back and catch some of that. But as always, those are a lot of fun. We had a great crowd on today. Randy with a nut farm. Dennis Chapman's here. So glad that a lot of you guys were able to jump onto the live today and hang out at the yard for a bit. Glenn's here. And it looks like we are connecting on Facebook. Looks like there's a few people over there finally. So Bill Disc made it. But anyway, as always, a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. Plus, I got something else I want to slide in kind of new, see what you guys think of that, and see what we should do with that. This other new segment I kind of had an idea about. Randy Weininger made it tonight. And curious to see if Balin Wire jumps on tonight because they're out on a road trip. So we'll see if Balin Wire and Copper Wire get on with us. Let's have a Hudson badge to get things rolling. Let's do a little bit of housekeeping. And then we'll get into tonight's chat. As always, please double check your comments before you hit send. If autocorrect changes it into something that I can't understand, I will have to skip it. I do catch most comments. I miss a few, but I do try to catch most of them. But if I can't make it out, I have to skip it. Alex here with us on Facebook. If you're on the Nobody Show Facebook page, I think Facebook is working tonight, so we need to address this. If you're on the Nobody Show Facebook page, this is a shared video from the Nobody Else's Auto page. I cannot see those comments. If you want to comment, participate in the auctions, participate in the chat, you'll need to be on the Nobody Else's Auto Facebook page or the Nobody Show YouTube channel. If you just want to hang out and watch on the Nobody Show page, you're perfectly fine there. Please remember, I can't see those comments. John's here with us. Trolls, occasionally we do get a few trolls on here. We have put some things in place to help eliminate some of that. We got Kevin L and Pete helping us out. Plus, I've got it set where you've got to be a subscriber to even comment. So that has helped dramatically, but we still get a few from time to time. So please, you guys do a great job of letting them know that they're not welcome. Super chats are always great. Always excited about the super chats. We got the new super chat badge. Whenever a super chat pops up, Chad's here with us. And ads. Unfortunately, it is YouTube's game, and they do run ads on lives. That's how they make money, and that's something we have to deal with. So we want to use their system. We got to kind of work with it. Frank made it tonight. Anyway, I have a lot going on. Before we get into that, what is coming up? We've kind of been in that lull time as far as auctions go. Glendale starts this week. Another biggie for Meekum. Our good friend Jim Wicks will be attending. But so there will be some footage, some auction action coming up, obviously on the internet. And I would imagine they will probably have some of that on TV as well. Glendale has turned into a pretty solid sale for Meekum. They've run some pretty high dollar cars over the last few years. And so I haven't looked, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's some TV coverage out next week on Meekum Glendale. So be curious to see how that sales goes and see where things are at. Of course, the January auctions, everything seems to be overinflated. So getting into some of these other auctions over the next few months and kind of see how things really look in the car world right now. But what have I had going on? Obviously, we probably should touch on the gathering again. We had another 1 or 2 guys get paid this week. So the gathering is coming together. I'm excited about it. We've got some things that we're working on that hopefully they will come together for that weekend, that maybe some nice additions. We'll just have to see how that plays out. But if you're not signed up yet, get with me or Pete. Get your name on the list just in case we do get close to filling. We are over halfway there. I don't know if we're going to fill or not, but with I'd hate for somebody to miss out if you really want to try to make it. So a little over a month out. We've still got some time. We're still getting some things nailed down. We've got a pretty good plan, I think, for that weekend. And everybody seemed to have a blast last year. And I think with the exception of a few people who ended up with other commitments that weekend, pretty much everybody that was here last year is coming back. So I'm taking that as a good sign that everybody had fun, even though we did get a little snow that day. There's Pete's email address. You can send it to him, badboychevrolets@gmail.com, if you need to get some information on that. But coming together nicely. Huge shout out to Pete for helping organize it. But great, John. Glad you're at least able to catch it after the fact. Oh, I agree, Nut Farm. I agree completely. I hate shooting vertical. But unfortunately, there again, it's YouTube's baby. It's their system. There isn't much we can do about it. But no, I think everything should be shot horizontal. I know a lot of people do watch on their phones, but with smart TVs and things like that anymore, I just like shooting in horizontal. I think it gives you a better picture, but that's just me. Yeah, and I understand, Jeff. It just doesn't work sometimes for some people. That's the nature of the beast, and especially when you get into springtime. Obviously, we can't do this in the winter because I haven't even been able to hardly get out there this winter. And I know as we get into spring, it gets really busy. So that's why we kind of stayed in April. You get into May and June with graduations and things like that. It gets way worse. So that's why we're kind of staying at the end of April. We'll try it again this year, see how it works. If it doesn't work, and you guys want to do it again, we may have to tweak it. But yeah, Tim, I think we got a great raffle this month. We'll get it down and check it out here shortly. But yeah, I think it's cool stuff. So, like I said, get with me or Pete if you want to make it to the gathering. Let's get you on the list. It's going to be a great weekend. The membership groups, new members this week. Brett jumped in this week as a new Nobody's member. As I've got you in there, Tim. Printed you off, I think, this morning. The membership group's coming along. Brett jumped in. The training group, I've got a couple guys ready to go. If you want to learn the ins and outs of what I do and how I do it, be sure to get with me and get on that training group. We'll probably be kicking that off as soon as these guys give me a time and a date. We're going to start this training off and go through all the details about how I do what I do. And there again, yes, there's a charge for it, but if it shouldn't cost you anything if you're out there moving a few bits and pieces and making some money with it. Neil's here with us. So get with me if you want to get that. If you just want to get into the regular membership groups, go ahead and jump in. If you want to get scheduled for the training part of it, get with me. Yeah, I heard about that, Kevin. I haven't had anything in a while, actually, come to think of it. Anyway, I did go out and, like we talked about on Toy Tuesday, I went out and picked up an El Camino on Wednesday. That was at another buddy of mine's place. Joe's Classics is here. Jumped on over on Facebook for a bit. So I went out, picked up this El Camino. It was a guy that I've known for years, and he moves a lot of primarily parts as well, but he's got, 50, 60 cars out there. So we talked about it, and I shot a little bit of content out there as well. I shot one little group with about, what was there? About 5 or 6 cars and trucks. in that little group that we shot. We will be bringing in some more stuff from his place as well next time I get out there. Badass Pony here tonight. Scott's with us on Facebook. So I'll get that. I've got that video to come up. And like I said, different place, different cars. But it's all cool stuff. What was it? What did we shoot in this video? A 39 Dodge Coupe. A100 pickup. When's the last time you saw an A100 pickup? Roger from Australia on with us tonight. So, not only was it, and I didn't even actually realize this until I was doing the video, actually. I just walking around, shooting the video, got my phone out, and I peeked inside this A100, and it's a V8 truck. It's a V8 in an A100 pickup. So I thought that was pretty cool. Roger from Australia hanging out with us. So we've had Australia on. We had Germany on this afternoon. Glad you guys are here. Chevy custom truck. There again, John, depends on what it looks like, what year it is, things like that. But no rust is huge. No rust on a Chevy pickup is a big, big deal. So that's right. Pete, that's a great way to put it, Pete. If you want it, it's always a good deal, right? 85. If it's that clean of a pickup, that doesn't sound out of line. Because that stuff, the rust thing is huge. Small block Chevys you can still find, or buy new stuff, buy LSs. You can get anything mechanical for that era of Chevy pickup, but getting good, clean sheet metal is just so tough. So if it's a 60,000 mile truck with no rust, that's a pretty big deal. Been on the farm news since outside San Antonio. What color is it? Custom 350. Does that mean it's a 1-ton? John? Sounds interesting. But anyway, so we're going to bring in some. Oh, what else was out there in this video clip we shot? Model T Roadster and like a 79 Chevy pickup, camper special. So white. Okay. If it's all white, I'd two-tone it if it were me. But Alec just bought a 58 D150 step side with a 57 nose. Sounds interesting. 57 nose is pretty unique. I wonder if they changed the whole front clip. They changed the whole front clip to put a 57 nose on it, because that 57 nose panel is kind of a pretty unique deal. So I wonder if that's got a whole front clip swap, Alec. They do not use they do not use much salt here, Jeff. Sounds good, John. They use a little bit of brine, and they'll use a little bit of salt when it gets really bad, but it's minimal. So we do not see a ton of salt here. Fortunately, that's why a lot of the rust that I see is skin type rust. So not, deep structure rust. So anyway, stay tuned. We'll be bringing you some content from my buddy's place. There's Charles. Billy Bowman made it tonight. Like I said, it's just more cool stuff. We always like checking out cool old iron. And so thought we'd share some of his with you. And he's got some really neat stuff out there. He's got another car. We didn't shoot this one yet, but he's got a 49 Baby Lincoln. Brett out in New Mexico tonight. What do you got on the back of the truck tonight, Brett? It's hard to say, Scott, without really seeing it, but that sounds, with no rust and a 454 and an 82 3/4 ton, that still sounds like a decent truck. The rust to me is the huge thing. Because you can say, you can buy all new panels, but you're buying Chinese metal versus getting a good solid truck with OE metal. Go ask a restoration shop what they think about buying something with good metal versus buying a bunch of Chinese metal and trying to put it back together. I know what kind of answers you'll get, because those guys call me every day begging for OE metal. Like if we can patch a little rust in a fender behind the wheel, we'll take it because we know it'll fit. Plastic pipe out of McPherson and then heading to Shafter, California. So lots of miles behind Brett this week. John Sanderson's here with us tonight. So stay tuned. We're going to bring you some more cool stuff from Buddy's place. I'm curious if still haven't seen baling wire or copper wire, because that goes along with the No Buddies page. I can see if it's that clean, Scott, for sure. What's up with the No Buddies page? Let's see. Oh, sweet. Matt just posted that's that Plymouth promo you were talking about today, isn't it, Matt? That's pretty cool. It's just like that wagon I got at the yard. Pete out doing some digging through an old yard. Randy out hitting the swap meets. Rusty Okie working on a 60 Ford pickup. Yep, that's what I figured, Matt. I seen that pop up and I was like, that's not one you see every day. So and there's some Balin Wires posts. If you guys have not seen it on the No Buddies page, if you're not on the No Buddies page on Facebook, get in there, answer the questions. Kind of curious if Balin Wire or Copper Wire jump on tonight. Father and son, some great guys been hanging out with us on here for a year or two. They are out on a road trip heading back with a third-gen Camaro. So curious as to if they have time to jump on. I assume they're still on the road. So guys, help me keep an eye out in case they get on with us tonight and give us an update. But you can check out what they've got going on the No Buddies Facebook page. And Pete is short one car. Pete sold his 67 Chevelle this week. So you know what that means. Pete's out shopping. So if anybody's got a Camaro for sale, Pete might be the guy to talk to. So anyway, Austin was at the Museum of Speed in Lincoln. I have not been there, and I really want to go. X-Ray Dean, I've seen some of his stuff pop up too at that Ashmore place, so don't know for sure what they've got going on. But anyway, if you're not on the No Buddies page, guys, get on there. It's great. Zach and Andy set that up for us. I don't have anything to do with it. Zach and Andy are the moderators on there. We are at 96 members. Let's push that to 100 and see what we can do there. It's been a great page. Like I tell you guys, I don't comment on them, but I do keep an eye on it, check it every day or two, and it's cool to see what you guys are posting. Very little, Brett. Very little. I bought very little at the swap meet. That video went up for members this week. So anyway, check out the No Buddies page. It's been awesome, and it's been a really cool deal. A huge shout out to Zach and Andy for putting that together with us. I bet so, Scott. 82 3/4 ton Silverado with a 454 and a 410 gear, 8 to 9 miles a gallon. That does not surprise me. All right. Haven't seen Pappy jump on yet tonight. I was kind of waiting to see if he was going to get on before we dig into this Hudson badge. But Pappy really, really outdid himself. I didn't see any. I saw very few transmissions there, period. But Pappy, been a great supporter for a long time and really, really did me up right. He sent me this cool package this week, and I want to share some of this stuff with you. There's a bunch of stuff in here, so bear with me, guys. I did not find any Saab emblems either, Planet Wisconsin. Hey, Joe's Classics, you're over here now. You were over here. Now you're over here. Oh, there's the 85 pickup. It looks clean. All right. From our good friend Pappy. Like I said, he sent me some pretty neat stuff. Well, you better have an Auburn badge, Joe, so we can keep up with you. But from our good friend Pappy, Organic Machine 455, stopping by for a second. Glad you stopped by. But a really great box from Pappy. Starting off with, he did us a batch of koozies. Did us some coasters. Even a little keychain. He got this kind of squeezed in here on a little narrow keychain. Pappy did some really cool stuff for us, all with our logo on it. License plate. And he actually played with the colors on this a little bit on some of these. Did one like that, and then he kind of lightened it up and kind of changed the tint on it. As well as, I don't know. We'll have to see if Pappy can do more than just a handful he made for me. Coffee mug. Cream City Pete. Yeah, this is really great stuff. Can't thank Pappy enough. And then this other piece, this is actually, this is completely smooth. It's not like a sticker or nothing. I don't know if it's printed on here or what, but there's no edges on this. It is completely smooth. So I don't know. If we put an order together, Pappy may be able to get it out for us. I don't know. This is just some stuff he sent me. And this is pretty cool. I've never had anybody do this for me. This is the first. This is definitely a first. A puzzle. And nobody else's auto puzzle. This is literally a puzzle with the logo printed on it. Tony made it tonight. Can't really sue for logo infringement when he made it for me and just sent it to me out of the blue. So I assume I don't think he's selling it. So Alec wants a coffee cup as well. Well, I don't have any idea what this stuff costs. So I would assume we could probably put a pre-order together. And I'm sure he would make a batch of it, but it's pretty neat stuff. So huge shout out to Pappy for hooking me up with the cool box of merch with my logo on it. John says he wants the front plate if he gets the 85. There you go. So anyway, Jesse's here. William made it tonight. So pretty cool. So thanks to Pappy for hooking us up on that. There's baling wire. We were just talking about you. None of it was any good, but we were talking about you. So baling wire, how is the trip going? Where are you at? What's up? Everything going smooth? Give us an update, baling wire. There's copper wire. So where are you guys at? What's going on? We were talking about you about 10 minutes ago, watching to see if you were going to get on tonight. So give us an update. I hope everything is still intact. I hope all the wheels are still attached. and still turning down the highway. So let's see what's going on with copper wire and baling wire. See if everything is still trucking and boogieing. We're in Wenatchee. Where is Wenatchee? What is Wenatchee? Just pulled the motor out of the Camaro. Mike from Waverly, Texas is here. What is Wenatchee? Wenatchee? What is it? What is that? Where is that? Because you kind of lost me on that one. We are keeping an eye on you. Everybody's keeping an eye on you on the No Buddies page. And be sure to check out Balin Wire's Old Iron. What? Oh, hey, whoa. What's that? Super chat, right? Supercharged super chat. Right there. Supercharged super chat. That's why we got the new super chat badge. The supercharged badge off the 35 Auburn Boat Tails Speedster. The new super chat badge. Brett's first super chat. So the supercharged super chat badge for Brett for hitting us with a super chat. Thanks, Brett. The Apple capital of the world. Yeah, this is real. This is a real side hood badge off of a 3536 supercharged Auburn. Pop metal, real deal. It's been re-chromed, but it's a real deal. So they're in Washington getting ready to swap the motor out of the Camaro, and then you're heading home, I take it? Put that on your Hyundai. That'd be a little too much class for a Hyundai. So you're going to swap the motor, and then you're driving the Camaro home. Is that correct, Balin Wire or Copper Wire, the way I understand it? Because we're going to be following you all week on the No Buddies page and on Balin Wire's Old Iron. So definitely keep an eye on that. So let's see what else they've got going on with Balin Wire and Copper Wire, and keep an eye out for what's going on with the Camaro apparently rebuild and drive home. That's going to be crazy. But anyway, as we're talking about that, let's one other thing I wanted to touch on yet tonight. Who caught Friday night's video? Thursday and Friday, they are going to be headed home. So we'll definitely keep an eye out on the Nobody's page. Keep an eye out on Balin Wire's Old Iron channel. And should be an epic adventure. Sounds like a ton of fun. Maybe. Or something like that. So the Camaro was a V6 and bought a TPI 5.0 to put in it. Okay, I saw the picture of the engine on the Nobody's page. We just checked all that out. So sounds like it's going to be interesting, to say the least. But anyway, Friday night's video from my buddy's yard. Did you guys catch that? What did you think of that? Andy's here with us. How crazy was that to be walking around that yard just at that time shooting some content when I heard that baby overhead? That roar, I mean, I've heard that roar before. I knew it was something different. I've seen both of those planes in person. I've seen them both in the air. So I knew it wasn't a Piper Cub coming over, but it was pretty cool. Yeah, David, I ship basically everything. I'm not even open to the public. Sometimes guys do pick up, but I ship over 90% of what I sell gets shipped, David. Kenny liked it. Dispatch liked it. You went up a mountain pass sideways. Okay. Do we want to know the rest of that story or not? Sounds interesting. So, but I did see the pictures of that dually as well. Are you driving both of them back? Is that the game plan, or what are you guys up to with the dually? So yeah, if you guys caught that video from Friday night, 88 S10, I've got a few of those square S10s, the mid to late 80s, or actually 81 or 82. What was that, 82 to 94? I've got a handful of them. So, yeah, I don't just have to see if I've got anything that's specifically an 88. And it depends on what you need, whether it would interchange or things like that. Waycamp liked it. Oh, lots of snow. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's right, John. With you being right down there, yep, Doc flies over you quite a bit. So that was pretty wild. Now, I'm out shooting content at my buddy's salvage yard, going through the trees, checking out these old cars, and I heard that roar, and I was like, man, that is not a Piper Cub. And I just kept looking and looking, and there she was. It was pretty neat seeing the B-29 Doc fly over while I was shooting that clip. Take 2, maybe 3 vehicles home. So you have a trailer too, or you got somebody else driving another one? They do keep, that's an insane amount of work to polish that thing, but they sure do. 15-inch steel wheels and interior door panels. I would just have to check, see if I had anything that still had decent door panels or any original wheels. Just give me a shout. You can give me a shout tomorrow, Dave, and I'll get it on my notepad and check and see. Might tow an A100 van home, possibly. Why not? Sounds like a good plan. There's Pappy. Pappy made it after we just got done talking about him. What is with it tonight? We talk about baling wire and copper wire. A few minutes later, they jump on, talk about Pappy, and then he jumps on shortly thereafter. So Brett knows exactly what you're talking about. But anyway, speaking of the video with when Doc flew over, we saw some cool stuff in that video. There was a really neat piece that I grabbed that I wanted to share with you guys. Check this thing out. Who remembers that Chrysler? I got this thing off the trunk. Now, I didn't get the whole thing. It was broke, and I didn't get the whole spear. But I got this off the trunk of that Chrysler right there right around when Doc was flying over. It's got the big C in it. It's got the little, I don't even know what they call these little rectangle things over here. This plastic insert in the chrome housing. Any 58 plates tonight? I don't know. I grabbed some plates. I don't know what I've got. But I thought this was kind of a cool piece. Like I said, the spear was broke off of here, and it was stuck on there. I couldn't get the bolt out. Chevette Scooter drove one of his first jobs in 82. Yep, that's where I was at. And that's where I got this piece at. Anybody want to add this to their collection? Yeah, remember, we're going to start sliding auction stuff in whenever, wherever, however. I think the Chevette Scooter would have been about the slowest car ever. True. So, we want to start the auctions with this Chrysler badge. Are we ready to do that or what? We'll go 90 seconds on them if somebody's interested in this for their collection. Like I said, I couldn't get the whole spear, but I still thought it was pretty cool. I've got a lot of Camaro wheels. I don't know for sure exactly what I do or don't have on IROC wheels. We'll just have to check. I'll just have to check and see. So anyway, that Volkswagen was pretty cool as well. That's true. Great Kitty, what are you doing? So, Matt at 20. This is like 62, 63 era. Oh, let me give you a size on it so you know. It's 5 inches across. The plastic insert does come out. It's 5 inches across. Directly from that video, Matt at 20. We're going to go 90 seconds. Shipping is included on this particular piece. And here we go. 90 seconds. Matt at 20. Dirty's here. Connect the rectangles and it's monogrammed for me. No, that's true. I hadn't thought about that. You're right, Kenny. Matt at 20. $30 seconds gone. 60 seconds left to go. Straight from that video. always try to grab a few things out of there because you guys always want some pieces out of that yard. So that's where this came from. Matt at 20. One minute gone, 30 seconds left to go. Matt must be our only Chrysler guy on tonight. Coming out of the end, Matt's our only Chrysler dude tonight, it looks like. Just about ready to wind it up. And that one's going to Matt. What the heck? Let's catch a license plate while we're here. Going down just south of me. Pretty nice plate for being 60 years old. 1965 Oklahoma. This thing's pretty darn clean. All black with white letters. About as simple as you can get color-wise. Back's nice. Just the condition on this thing is really good. There's tiny bit of surface rust on the edge, but very minimal. Just a really clean, original plate. Gary's here. This is a standard size, 12 by 6, I believe. Yep. Basically a roughly 12 by 6 plate. 1965 Oklahoma. So, who's going to get us rolling on the 65 Oklahoma plate? We got some killer plates again tonight. Let's see what happens on this one. We're ready to go on the 65 Oklahoma plate. Kevin L at 15. $30 seconds gone. 60 seconds left to go. Alan's here with us. Tulsa County. So is ZC, is that the county in Oklahoma? We haven't done many Oklahoma plates, so I got a few in this last batch. Gary, 17. John at 16. I got Gary at 17. 1 minute gone. 30 seconds left to go. Gary at 17. Jesse, 18. And that does it. Jesse at 18 on the 65 Oklahoma. And there comes the rest of the bids. Tony, John. But we got that one at Jesse at 18. That's where we were at when we hit the 90-second mark. Hudson badge. All right. New inventory. It was a Chevy kind of week. Had 3 of them hit the ground. Actually, I had a few others come in, but it was all newer stuff that isn't that interesting. But I had 3 interesting Chevys come in. As we talked about a little earlier, 1966 El Camino. Was that your first win, Jesse? I know you've bid on some stuff before. I don't remember if you've got anything before. I don't blame you, Chad. 4 a.m. starting time is pretty early. But 1966 El Camino, no motor, but not a terrible old body. Factory red car, and it was a factory 6-cylinder. It's got the 230 badges on it still. Second, okay, that's right. I do remember you got that batch. Okay, I knew you bid on a bunch of stuff, but I knew you kind of got smoked on a few of them right at the end. So glad you got another one. Tim's here with us. Anyway, so the 66 El Camino is here. We will get some content on that. I shot a few clips before I loaded that out at my buddy's place. And on to more Chevys. 1968 Impala 2-door hardtop. Pretty much a complete old car. Just been sitting for years. It is the formal roof, not the fastback, but pretty much a basic Impala. Just a regular small block, automatic. Not a lot of weird options or anything cool. Just pretty much complete, just rough and weathered 68 Impala 2-door hardtop. Now, Brian, Dispatch Brian, you still on here? You still with us yet tonight, Brian? We got one more Chevy that hit the ground this week. Yep, the formal roof. It's a pretty clean look. Well, guess what else I picked up, Brian? We're going to finally get a video out on the 70 Caprice 4-door hardtop. So, the one you've been asking about. It's rough. The 70 Caprice 4-door hardtop is rough. But I actually hadn't looked at it that close when I traded for it. So I looked it over a little bit. Like I said, it's rough. The back window's been gone for years. The interior's shot. The motor's gone. The hood's gone. But when I started looking at it a little bit closer, the El Camino was a 6-cylinder automatic is what it was originally. But the 70 Caprice was a factory 454 car as well. Like the Kingswood wagon. Like I said, the motor's gone, but it was a 454 car, automatic. It does still have a 12-bolt under it. And it was a fairly highly optioned car. Like I said, I just picked it up. When did I pick it up? Wednesday. So I haven't dug real deep into it, but I did notice it was a power window car. It was a power seat car. It probably had a tilt because the column's gone. A Dodge-a-lac. Dodge in the front, Cadillac in the back. Okay. I don't know if we want to see a picture of that one or not, Copperwire. I think we do, but we really don't type of thing, you know. So, you know, like I said, that Caprice is nowhere complete, but there's a lot of good pieces on it. It's got a lot of the Caprice trim on it. So we'll be bringing you that one as well. Plus, we'll bust out that selling amp manual again and check out the options and the colors on that Caprice with our manual. I'm going to try to start doing more of that, whatever I've got literature on. Posting it on the Nobodies right now. Okay, let's check it out. I'm ready. Well, I think I'm ready to see it. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm thinking I'm ready. I might be ready to see it. There's Pappy. Storms in the area. Okay. Might need to call me, Pappy. I showed everybody the stuff, and there's some guys that may want to order stuff, so we may need to put an order together for you if you wanted to make a run of some of this stuff. So if you get a minute this week, give me a shout. John said he thinks he's seen the picture of it. Okay. We'll see. John says we have to see the pic. Okay. I'm like, I want to see it, but I don't want to see it. You know, it's kind of like a train wreck. You know, you don't want to stare, but you're going to, right? But before it pops up, actually, if he's posting a picture of whatever that is, we better bring this out in preparation of the whatever that is, Dodge-a-lac. Boom, 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 boom. Yes, we're getting the big badge out before we have to see the picture of the Dodge-a-lac because I think we're all going to need an extra couple. In fact, we're going to do something we've never done before for the Dodge-a-lac. We're going to get all of it out because we might need all of it to handle the experience of the Dodge-a-lac. So we'll see what the Dodge-a-lac ends up being. I bet it is quite the sight. I bet it's something. All right, let's give it a second, and then we're going to check out the Dodge-a-lac on the Nobody's page. Now, if you're not on the Nobody's page, you got to be on the Nobody's page, because I'm not sure what this is going to entail. All right, let's see if it's up yet. Wow, that is something. That is definitely something. Holy cow. I will give the guy credit. That was an insane amount of work to put that deal together. There is no doubt about it. That was a lot of work to make that what it is. I'm going to say it's not necessarily my cup of tea, but I can appreciate the amount of work and effort that they put into that thing. Is that another super chat, Brett? Or did it pop up again? Not that motivated. Was that a new super chat, Brett? Again? You hitting us again? I guess that's a new one. I guess Brett hit us twice tonight, so we got to bring out the supercharged super chat badge. Thanks, Brett. Appreciate that. Always appreciate your guys' support and the fact that you're willing to throw a few super chats out there because of you guys are enjoying yourself and we're having a good time here and it means something to you. So there we go. Another super chat. Thanks, Brett. It's another supercharged super chat. Auburn Hood badge comes out for the super chats. Awesome. Thanks, Brett. But, man, there's a lot of work in that thing. Well, I guess now we can all say we've seen the one and only Dodge-a-lac. Glad we all got all the badges out before we seen it. All right. Anyway, that's new inventory. How about some Hemmings ads? Now we can sleep tonight. Yep. Hemmings ads. Back to 1980 in Hemmings. We still want to check out. Thanks, Brett. I appreciate it. Let's see. A100s. Is there any A100s for sale in the D section of Hemmings in 1980? While we're talking about D100s, anything else you guys want to catch, just let me know. Ooh, Imperial. ZZ Top on another level. I was just literally flipping through here looking for A100s, and this Imperial ad caught my eye. Remember, guys, this is 1980. 1975 Imperial Coupe, every option including factory sunroof, Spanish gold, gold roof, gold leather, 22,000 miles, $61,000 in 1980 money. Holy cow. Let's see if there's any A100s in here. What do you guys want to check out in the 1980 issue of Hemmings? Oh, here's an interesting one. 1970 Hemi Challenger, red on red, 24,000 miles, 99% original, automatic, immaculate in every way possible, best stock Hemi Challenger around, one of a kind. So, what do you guys think a 20,000 mile Hemi Challenger was worth in 1980? I'm going to keep looking for some A100s. You guys, what do you think it's worth? $10K. And I would have said, and I would have guessed that's probably right in line. But you could have taken it home. It was going to cost you a little bit more money for 15 grand. 70 Chevelle SS's. We will check here in a second. Not seeing any A100s. Alex said 4 grand. Definitely light at the 4 grand, but don't see any A100s. Let's see if we got any Chevelles in here. Yeah, little light, Alex. Man from the farm from North Dakota's here with us. Like we've talked about, guys. Oh, Chevrolet did have a section, and then everything else was C. 71 Mach 1. Let's check for a Chevelle here real quick. Then we'll catch a Mach 1 and then see if any 442s are in here. Chevrolet cars for sale. 70 Chevelle SS's. Let's see if we got anything. I'd imagine there should be something in here. Lots of Corvettes because they were all rolled in with Chevrolet. Pretty sure we're not going to find a Dodge-a-lac in here. Wow, I'm not really seeing much for Chevelles. There was a 69 Malibu, or no, 66 Malibu convertible. 66 Malibu convertible with factory air, power steering, power brakes, good original car, drive it home, $950. Oh, on those super chats, Brett, though, YouTube takes a chunk of that. So it's YouTube gets their cut out of that as far as applying that to anything else. 72 Chevelle SS convertible. So not a 70, but a 72 SS 454. Cowl hood, power steering, power brakes, tilt, tinted windows, AM, FM, 4-speed. 75,000 miles. Green with black stripes, white interior. 3 grand. And that one's a convertible. So don't see any 70s. Let's see if there's any. Let's see what we got for Mustangs real quick. We'll catch a few of these and then we'll move on. But let's. All right, here's a few Mustangs. So we're looking for a 71. There's a 73 convertible. '71 Boss 351 Mustang, blue with silver, front spoiler, new paint, 4-speed, 55,000 miles, excellent condition, $4,800. 71 Boss 351, yellow and black, 4-speed, needs minor work, $3,500. So those are Bosses. Not seeing any 71 Machs at this point. All right. Brand new 71 grabber line for $5,700. All right. Any judges or 442s? Let's check those real quick, and then we'll move on to the next segment. Some badges and caps. We'll look real quick. We'll see if we got any judges. And you got to remember, guys, those cars were basically used cars in 1980. That's the crazy part about it. Yeah, it's probably a little earlier than that, Joe, if it's a 427. Because I think 69 was the last year of the 427. But it was not uncommon to see a 427 in a four-door Caprice. I bet it's a 69, Joe, with a 427. But those are cool cars for sure. Few GTOs in here. I'm not seeing any Judges, though. Let's check out some 442s. See if we got any of those in here, and then we're going to move on to the next segment. Oh, cars for sale. 1969 Hearst Olds, number 74 of 906, made completely stock, fully restored and detailed, $5,800 for a 69 Hearst. 72 Hearst Indy Pace Car convertible, 24,000 miles, one of three built, 455 engine, dual gate, Positrack, air and power, $6,500 for a 72 pace car convertible. Oh, here's another good 442. 72 W30. Dual gate console, fiberglass hood with locks, heavy duty radiator, heavy duty suspension, factory mags, 323 posi, tinted glass, air conditioning, stereo tape, electric rear defroster, tilt wheel, rally pack cluster, light group, formula wheel, 38,000 miles, $5,800 for a 72 W30. '71 442 convertible, power steering, power brakes, auto, buckets, console, new paint, sharp, $3,500. So definitely some pretty good deals on 442s in 1980. So I hope you guys are still enjoying going through some old Hemmings. We'll keep mixing in some different years and checking out some cool stuff. Hudson badge. Speaking of 69 Chevys, because I bet that's what you got, Joe. I bet it's a 69. But why don't we sell something? And when you brought up 69 Chevy, it reminded me we've got a 69 Chevy thing to sell tonight. And it's cool. This is full-size car. Even though we looked at a Camaro one that was very similar, I'm pretty sure this is full-size on the 69 grill emblem for a full-size car. Now, it does look very similar to the new old stock Camaro one we looked at a few weeks ago, although this one is slightly different. Very, very minor differences in dimensions. Close enough to where they probably, I don't know why they made two of them, but they did. This is a used original. Chrome still has a nice bright shine. Blue plastic insert still looks great. About 7 inches across here. Copper wire at 30. So about 7 inches tip to tip. It is V'd to fit the grill, but these are a great looking piece with the blue insert. Good chrome, black outside the perimeter. 1969 Chevrolet full-size front grill badge, and we are live and on the timer. Copper wire at 30. Show the back. This is the mounting bracket right here. You can kind of see how that's sitting there on the studs. 30 seconds gone. 60 seconds left to go. Coming up on the 1 minute mark. Copper wire at 30. 1 minute gone. 30 seconds left to go. Coming out of the end, about ready to wind this one down. Copper wire at 30. And that did it. Copper wire must have knocked everybody out with that. Sometimes that happens. If you throw a solid bid out there to begin with, nobody messes with you. Let's catch another emblem while we're here. This one's tweaked a little bit, but it's cool. Something for our Pontiac fans. We haven't done any Pontiac stuff in a while. Check this out. See, it's kind of bent down here at the end. It's not busted, so I'm sure if you spend a little time, you can probably kind of straighten it out. This is late 40s, early 50s. Chrome still looks good. It's got a few pits. It just needs kind of tweaked here at the end and kind of work this back out. It is about 8 5/8. I assume that was on the Chevy emblem, Brett, or is that on the Pontiac emblem? It kind of popped up just as we held this up. So I assume that was kind of old. So this is 49, 50, 51-ish era on this chrome Pontiac badge. It is chrome plated pop metal, mounting studs on the back. Just this end is tweaked. So I assume that was an old one on the Chevy badge, Brett. Let me know, and then let me know if anybody's in on the Pontiac badge. Give everybody a few seconds here so make sure we get caught up and get so we know where we're at. And that or everything's hung up. I got nothing coming through. Pete, 15. So, Gary, 12. Okay, so that must all be on the Pontiac badge. So, okay, that at least we've got other bids. I wasn't sure if Brett's was an old one that was hung up or not. Pete at 15. Coming up on the 30-second mark. Just past 30 seconds, just under 60 to go. One minute gone, 30 seconds left. Pete, 15. About ready to wind it up. Pete at 15. Tony, 17. And that does it. Tony at 17. Tony can never turn down a cool Pontiac badge, that's for sure. Timed that one just about right. About 126, 127. Didn't really give anybody else time to even fire off another shot. That's what I thought, Brett, because that kind of came in just as I was holding up the Pontiac badge. So I thought it was hung up in there. Let's catch a pair of plates real quick, then we'll move on to badges and caps. What I like about these is consecutive numbers are always cool. These are 1975 Kansas plates, the wheat centennial year. Number 98, number 99. I thought this was a cool pair. They're a really nice bright green with white letters. Wheat centennial, this is all embossed in them. Number 98, number 99, they are different counties. But condition on these things both look really pretty good. The 98, as you can see, a little bit of light surface rust over here, but nothing too serious at all. Back's clean on it. Same thing on the 99. Gary, 14 on the pair. You're getting the pair of them. There again, not hardly any surface rust either on this one. The green looks really nice. Bright fields of green with the white against it. The corner of the state is stamped out on it. Backside, once again, clean. You're getting the pair for one bid, number 98 and number 99, consecutive numbers. Gary at 14, and we're on the timer. Coming up on the 30-second mark, you're getting the pair. 30 seconds gone, 60 seconds left to go. We got a great promo coming up tonight, guys, too. Coming up on the 1 minute mark, Gary at 14, you're getting the set. One minute gone, 30 seconds left. Just about ready to wind it up. Gary at 14. And that does it. Gary at 14. Tony had a 20 in there, just a hair too late. Jesse had a 16 in there. Gary barely snuck that one out of there. All right, let's catch an emblem, a cap, and try something new. And a killer promo model coming up. Definitely one of the top shelf promos out of that Chevy collection. First off, another Pontiac emblem. This is off of about a 65. This was pre-overhead cam. This one, I've got a 65 Tempest that has these badges on it. Pre-overhead cam on the regular Pontiac 6-cylinder PMD6. Very clean, block-looking emblem. Like I said, I've got a 65 Tempest four-door that has this exact emblem on it. So it's that era. This particular piece, 5 inches by 1 inch. This is a pop metal stud mount emblem. Like I said, I don't know if 64 used it as well, but I know 65 used it. Studs on the back along with a guide pin. Just a very clean, like I said, blocky, but very clean looking PMD6 off of like a 6-cylinder Tempest. This is mine. This was out of my collection. Kevin's liking it, but this is out of my collection. So that's what we've got for an emblem tonight. The cap that we're going to get into is definitely a little bit different. And we're going to study a little bit about this car because it's very interesting. By the way, I got another box of grease caps, folks, so stay tuned. In the autumn of 1893, that's a long time ago, folks. 132 years ago. Elwood P. Haynes took a 6-cylinder marine engine to the Riverside Machine Works in Kokomo, operated by the Apperson brothers, and asked them to build him a motor car. The car that they built first ran in the streets of Kokomo on July 4th of 1894. Elwood Haynes forever after referred to this car as the first car in America, even though he knew that John Lambert had run a car in 1891. And the Apperson brothers were never mentioned. However, the Haynes and Apperson partnership continued in a casual way, and a few Haynes Apperson cars were built. In 1898, the Haynes Apperson Company was organized, and a new factory was secured later that year. In 1899, a Haynes Apperson was driven from Kokomo to New York, and in 1901, the trip was repeated in 73 hours, which Haynes claimed was a speed record. So there's a lot of things in here that Haynes was claiming. But there's a lot of the guys back in that era that did claim a lot. There was no internet. It had to be printed, distributed, and what you were seeing, the news you were seeing, could have been from a month ago. By the way, we are on the American Auto Emblems website again, where we find all of our badge information. Speaking of badges, how about we have a Hudson badge? The Haynes Apperson was a fine automobile and won a blue ribbon in the Long Island Endurance Race and 2 first prizes in the New York to Rochester Endurance Contest in 1901. Later in 1901, the Appersons and Haynes parted company, and in July 1902, the first Apperson arrived. Elwood Haynes continued the Haynes Apperson name until June of 1904, when the car became simply Haynes. The company was reorganized as the Haynes Automobile Company in September 1905. By 1906, all Haynes cars were 4-cylinder models. A 6-cylinder model was added in 1913, and a V12 made its debut at the New York Automobile Show in January of 1916. The Haynes V12, or Light 12 as it was called, was continued in production through 1922, but financial difficulties arose in 1921, and the company began reducing prices, but was bankrupt by late 1924. All production ceased in 1925, the same year that Elwood Haynes died. So the Haynes itself was made from 1904 to 1925, basically. They had very little marking on them until they got into the teens, which I believe is where we get for this cap. Now, if you remember early on in the story, Elwood Haynes claimed that the car that he had the Apperson brothers build was the first car in America. However, everybody knew that someone had already tested a car a couple years prior to that. However, that did not stop Haynes from utilizing that in his marketing campaign or on his grease caps. The Haynes, America's first car. This is a fairly heavy grease cap. I'm guessing this is probably mid to late teens, maybe into the early 20s. It sounds like in 24, 25, they really didn't build many cars. So if this was the case, this was probably Pete's in love. No newer than early 20s. This is a fairly heavy cap. There's some bulk up here to this part of the cap. Inside, you can see where it is stamped. You get it's kind of deep in there. You got to kind of get the light right, but you can see where that is stamped in there. This did have the hex out here around the outside perimeter, as well as a ring where the badge was actually at. This is a fairly decent size grease cap as well. Size-wise, across the back with the threaded area, it is about 3 3/8 across here. It is cool, Tony, no doubt about it. Internal threads, of course, like all these have. Across the front, the badge, the Haynes badge, is about 2 1/4 across the front here. But definitely a different one. The one that we didn't even have in our collection, so was definitely excited to get this one. Nut Farm's out there swinging, but this one I don't have, so this one's mine. And I only got one of them. So a pretty cool piece. So that's what we got for badges and caps, the PMD6 and Haynes, America's first car. Now, I want to throw something else at you guys and see what you think. Yep, I don't blame you, Nutform. Don't blame you a bit. I got an idea for another segment. So I want to know what you guys think of it. Everything we do on here is to talk about old cars, learn about old cars, add to our knowledge, share our knowledge. And I had another idea that I thought I'd throw at you, see if you guys like it, to kind of work it in here with the badges and caps, as they're, again, just learning about the Hemmings and America's first car. Joe just says do it. He don't even know what it is yet. It's a good attitude, though. But as I've been thinking about my content, thinking about doing my videos, I've been going through a lot of my literature that I've got laying around. I don't believe so, Gary, because it said he died in 25, and that's when the car was, they quit making the car. So I doubt that had anything to do with that, Gary. So as I'm going through this literature, and I've got a box here and a box over here, and I'm grabbing these books off this shelf and another box over here, and I'm starting to kind of lay this stuff out, and I'm kind of flipping through stuff looking for pieces that are related to cars that I've got, because I've been working on getting ready to shoot some content, and I've got 12 or 15 videos to do at the yard. So looking around for what I can add to it, just like when we did the Kingswood video with the selling album, the dealer album, we'll do the same thing with that 70 Caprice. So I'm looking around seeing what I've got. And I start going through some of these brochures and stuff, and I was like, man, there is some super killer stuff in these things. We've looked at a lot of them before. We've sold some of them in the auctions. But I thought, why don't we just do a sales brochure and talk about that particular car? And I found one that really stood out because it was the last year that they produced this car, and only a handful were made. So that's what thought this could be interesting. And there again, learn some more little bits and pieces of history about the old car world. So what do you guys think about doing that? And there again, it would be just like we'll do a badge, a cap, and a sales brochure and talk about those particular vehicles. Looking for your feedback, looking for your ideas. Yay, no, yay, nay. Joe likes it. Pete likes it. Well, let's check out the first one, and then we're going to get a general consensus after we do the first one and see what you guys think. The one that really stood out, that really kind of made me think about this, Nut Farm's digging it. Kevin L likes it. And I've got a buddy who has a car identical to this, and they only made a handful of them. Matt likes it. Brett likes it. Gary says, and then sell them. We could sell some of them. John likes it. But this is really neat because it was the last year, the last breath of life for this company. Only a handful. Joe changed his mind. Okay. Copperwire says, let's do it. Kenny says, let's do it. No problem, Joe. I got you. So I thought this brochure was super cool on the 1961 DeSoto. When's the last time anybody on here has seen a 1961 DeSoto? Alec likes the idea. Now, the reason I ask Pete's never seen one. Let's check out why, first off. I got this book. I've used this book religiously for years. 50 Years of the American Automobile. You can see how rough this book is. I got this book new in like 90. Oh, wait till you see the rest of the pictures, John. This has all kinds of production figures in it. So let's go to DeSoto. And let's figure out why nobody has ever seen one of these things. That's true, the dealer stamps on them. Joe said he would have guessed Imperial. DeSoto. For 1961. Now, in 1961, they made 2 DeSotos. And they weren't even 2 models of DeSoto. They made 2 DeSotos, period. Hardtop coupe, hardtop sedan, that's it. You got a 2-door, you got a 4-door, that was it. No models, no convertibles, no wagons. You could get a 2-door, a 4-door, or you didn't get one. That's all that was there. They built 2,123 4-doors, 911 2-doors. Okay, so they built 3,000 of them total. complete. 900 hard 2 doors, 2,000 4 doors on the 61 DeSoto. This is a good book. So back to our sales brochure on the 61 DeSoto. Let's pop this thing open and take a look inside of it. So that's a pretty good looking car. They made 911 of these. Interior shot. It is a beautiful car. They are a beautiful car, no doubt about it. Look at that dash. John does now. John wants one. Well, we're going to get to that here in just a second, Pete. We're going to answer Pete's question here in just a little bit. 61 DeSoto quality features: push button torque flight transmission, torsion air ride, total contact brakes, turbo flash 361 engine, alternator electrical system. AC unit, I assume you're talking about what was under the dash. Is that what we're talking about, Nut Farm? Because that's a good point. We need to go back to that picture. Okay, good question, Nut Farm. Let's go back to that picture. That I do not know. But you brought up a very valid point, Nut Farm. And I should have pointed this out about this box hanging under the dash. This is not AC. Who knows what it is? It is not air conditioning. That's right, Waycamp got it. It's a record player. That is a record player. RCA Victor, not a tissue box. Jeff got it. Pete got it. I don't know if you guys can see it if I hold it up here close enough. It says RCA Victor right on it. So let's go back to our accessories list. Factory installed items available: air conditioning, of course, radio, RCA 45 automatic record player. Oh, they did skip. I don't think 58 Eldorado had it. Chrysler primarily was the one that utilized that record player. Handgun safe, that's a good idea. But yeah, it's listed right here, RCA 45 automatic record player, if you guys can see that and make it out on your screen. The following Mopar items can be installed on your DeSoto at your dealer: rear window defogger, seat belts, padded visors, child guard rear door locks, outside right mirror, autopilot rear seat speaker, dual rear fender antennas. Yeah, I don't think Cadillac had them, but maybe they did. I don't know. That's true, David W. You didn't want to leave your vinyl in there. Unibody construction on the DeSoto. The engine, 361 Turbo Flash V8, 265 horsepower, 380 pounds of torque. And on the backside, look at that. So when you open this brochure up all the way, this thing is really cool. Check this out. The hearts are still pouring up for this thing. So back to Pete's question. It is, John. It is super cool. Have I ever seen one? There's one right there. Yes, I've got a buddy that actually has one of these. Look at the nose. And of course, look at the rear of this thing. So, yeah, that's probably the only one I've ever seen. I didn't know much about him. He enlightened me a lot on him when I was looking at his car because I didn't know anything about him. And that's right, Joe. It does have a heck of an interior as well. But just a great looking car, super unique. Nice colors on the seats. Not sure what the deal was with this. Unless it was just a partial fold forward type deal or, more access on one side. Not sure what that was. But it's a pretty cool brochure. So you guys want to sell it? I hadn't planned on it, but I don't really need it, I guess. I just thought it was cool and thought I wanted to share it with you. It's sharp, though. So I don't really care. I have no problem keeping it. But if you guys want to sell it, we can sell it. It's up to you. You guys make a decision, and we'll throw it on the timer if we're going to do it. John says, let's start the bidding. Well, that's up to you guys. Hadn't really figured that, but you guys love it too, so what do you think? Looks like the Fury. I think, they were probably the same body, Joe. It wouldn't surprise me a bit if they were the same body. Highway Hi-Fi adds 5% on collector car marketplace. Sounds good, Tim. Glad you were here. John at 10. John's trying to start the bidding at 10. Playing Elvis songs on a 45. What do you guys think? I don't know if I want to sell it or not. I don't want to sell it for 10. I know that. But if you guys are serious, we start getting some bids, we'll sell it. It's up to you. John at 20. So John's serious about this project then. So I guess, are we going to sell it? What do you guys think? Sell it or not? I'm on the fence. So Joe, 21. Well, I guess you guys keep bidding. That means we got to sell it. What do you think? Like I said, I'm completely on the fence on this one. Nobody knows if we should sell it or not. It is super cool. That's why I'm completely on the fence. Kevin L says keep it. Do the 60 Edsel next. I don't think I've got any 60 Edsel stuff, but that does bring me back to the point of what, you guys like this. David W. says he likes it. Do we like the idea? Tell Kevin to shut up. Joe says I better keep it. I'm really on the fence. I'm really on the fence. That's true, Glenn. You're not going to find another one. Everybody's telling me to keep it. Pete says continue with the segment. So, what do you guys think? It's a great piece. It really is. I think my buddy's got one. I texted him. He said he thought he had one. So I probably better check with just to make sure. Put a reserve on it. I think he said he's got one, but I want to make sure he's got one before I would sell it. But anyway, back to the concept of busting out an old brochure like that. John says keep it. Brett says keep it. Like I said, I've got tons of them. But when I walked past and looked at that, I was like, man, that's a pretty cool piece. So, wow, good. That's great, guys. I appreciate that. Nothing but just positive comments about adding that to, Kev says definitely keep it. Badge cap brochure. How's that, guys? It's. I think it'll be a lot of fun. John's heart was pounding looking at it. It was so good. It's a neat piece. And that's the thing about these brochures. That's why I want to start doing them. The design, the artwork, they were works of art back in their day. So that's what makes them so cool. No, Jeff, promo's coming up here shortly. But if you guys want to sell something, we should sell something, right? How about this? Another grease cap, fresh out of the new box I got. We've sold a couple of these before, but this one has a really, really great badge on it. Not even clobbered at all on the lettering. That's right. And that's, John, you hit the nail on the head. When people cared and put out a great product. 200% correct. But since you guys want to auction some stuff, we'll do a couple pieces here real quick before we do the promo. Starting off with the grease cap. 475 more plates to go. We've got a couple more tonight. And I'm working up to some really great ones. I think they're really great. Some of them probably, Brett. Probably do on some of them. But let's sell a grease cap. How about one for our Chevy fans? There again, we've done one or two similar to this one. Critical part about this, the Chevrolet in this is really clear. Not really clobbered or beat up on the Chevrolet. You can kind of see a good look at the script on this one, how clear it is. It has the hex out around here. Internal threads, we can see the Chevrolet stamped in the back of it. Gary, 18. It is 2 3/8 across the back. And about 1 3/4 inches across the front. Alec likes the idea. So obviously lots of thumbs up for the sales brochure part. Nut Farm 25. We are on the timer on the Chevy grease cap. Gary, 29. John, 40. $30 gone. John at 40, but there again, this is a nice, clean, clear one. Oh, 30. John at 30. No problem. So John at 30. We're still got plenty of time left, so that's okay. John can watch hours of just brochures. So John at 30. Gary, 32. Man, when they're this crisp and clear, that's what really makes them cool. You can see it's even got some texture to it. 1 minute gone. Going up faster than tariffs. Gary at 32. Past the 1 minute mark. Nut Farm, 40. Just about ready to wind it down. Nut Farm at 40. And that does it. Nut Farm at 40. I want to throw another plate at you guys real quick. I had a bunch of these, and I'm down to the last couple. We've sold some in the past. We haven't sold one in a really long time. And I thought, you know what? Maybe you guys, some of you guys haven't got one of these. It's a really great plate. The 1961 Kansas Centennial. I don't know if you got these could buy these from the state or where you got them from, but they were very, very popular in the early 60s all over Kansas. You still see some cars sitting around that have them. And it has a buffalo on it because, you know, animals are always great, right? The 1961 Kansas Centennial plate. This is all printed. This is not embossed. The back of this one is smooth. This one does have some dings and dents and banged up a little bit here on the bottom and a few scratches, but it's original. 1961 Kansas Centennial. The buffalo is printed on here as well. Like I said, I don't know if you could buy these at the courthouse or where you bought them, but back, like I said, you still see a few cars that have them on them. It should have stayed in at 40. Yeah, no kidding, John. So the 1961 Kansas Centennial plate. Is this of any interest to any of you guys? I think they're kind of unique. And I know we've sold one or two, but it's been a few years ago. So I thought I'd throw one up there and see if you guys had any interest in it on one of these tonight. Nut Farm says, yep. So are we ready to go on the Kansas plate? Tony at 10. So the 1961 Kansas Centennial plate with the buffalo on it, and we're live on the timer. Glenn says they were everywhere in the 60s, and fine, since these were printed, you don't see a lot of them anymore. Glenn at 20. We've done a couple of these, Alec, but it's been a long time ago. That's why I figured I'd grab another one. Glenn at 20 as we hit the 30-second mark. Great Kitty, what are you doing over there? Crisis over there. Glenn at 20 as we come up on the 1 minute mark. 1 minute gone, 30 seconds left to go. Glenn at 20 as we come down to the end. Tony, 22. And Tony got that one done at 22. Snuck that one in right under the wire. All right, let's do one more thing before we get to the promo. These are great emblems. I think you guys are going to dig them. Oh, shoot. I just got off a line here on my deal. Okay. One more pair of emblems. Then we're going to get to the promo. Barracuda. Pot metal, chrome plated, stud mount, Barracuda. Late 60s. 8.5 inches long. About just over an inch tall. Man from the farm's digging it. Barracuda. Going with the Barracuda. The Barracuda. Yes, you're going to get a fish with it. Nut Farm at 20. The fish itself, also chrome plated pot metal, stud mount. Four and a half inches long. Gary out there at 35. You're getting the pair, the set, the Barracuda and the Barracuda. And we're on the timer. Nut Farm 40. Yeah, they're neat pieces. If I can hold on to them, get the fish here by the tail. Kind of tricky to hold on to. David likes them. Copperwire, not even a Mopar guy, and he likes them. Coming up on the 1 minute mark. We missed that 30-second mark. Coming up on 1 minute. Nut Farm at 40. 1 minute gone. 30 seconds left to go. Nut Farm 40. Gary 41. I have one marlin in the yard. Gary at 41 as this one's coming down towards the end. Get Nut Farm 42, and that does it. Nut Farm barely snuck that one in at 42 at about the 128 mark. No room to work and wiggle on that, but he snuck it in at 42. All right. Yeah, he barely snuck that one in on you, Gary. There's no doubt about it. I thought you had that one done. We were down to the last 3 seconds, and it slid in there. Now it's time for a promo model. One of the early picks when we got choice at the auction. So definitely one of the better ones. Great looking piece. There is not a hood ornament on that marlin, I don't think, John. On the 1964 Impala Super Sport promo in a silver blue. And I tried to look the color up, and literally that's what they had it called, silver blue. Well, I guess that's what it is. As with most of these Chevrolets out of this collection, condition is excellent. There's some light scuffing on the roof right here on that, where that roof line breaks over. But there again, the bumpers aren't chipped. The lights are there. This one's not going anywhere, Joe. Inside, this is what's kind of odd. This actually has a gray interior. Typically, the interiors were color coordinated. However, this is a painted promo. This was painted in this silver blue. So the interior is actually, and it appears to be what it was molded in the gray. Now, we can see it does have the buckets and console and floor shift, just like a Super Sport would have had. Does not have a tack on the dash. We can see that there's no tack on the dash on this particular one. Bottom side is done in a different blue, and as with all these promos, not a ton of detail because this is one molded piece of plastic. However, we do clearly see the X-frame design common on GM cars from that era. So a very popular car. All the early 60s Impalas are getting very popular. The 64s have always had a following. This has all the original hubcaps, original tires. Those are some big bug eyes, David W. But a great looking piece and a really cool promo. Not one, you don't hardly ever see these. You're still not even, I don't even think you're close to what we've got in them, Glenn, even at that. So, but a great looking piece. Definitely one that Dad wanted. He actually had a 64 that we sold at the auction 3 or 4 years ago. He had a Daytona blue 64 Super Sport. This one done in the silver blue. Yeah. That's a good point, John. Sometimes you do want to sit around and play with all your own toys too, but definitely a great piece. And like I said, we've got a lot more stuff to come. They had 84 promos that day. We ended up with 49 of them. I think we're about halfway through. Oh, Glenn had a 64 409 car. Sweet. So I think we're getting close to the halfway point on these Chevy promos. And we've got another station wagon coming up, another pickup, some killer Corvettes. Arrowheads, that sounds interesting. So definitely a great looking piece. There's Mark Kirk. Told you we had a good promo tonight, guys. Story time. Who's ready for story time? Going back to a car that Dad flipped years and years ago. Going back once again to 1976. Joe was going to go to 15. Let's have a Hudson badge anyway. September 20th of 1976. I would have been a year and a half old, almost 2, coming up on 2. I was almost 2, the big 2. When Dad bought this 1971 Buick Electra 225 deuce and a quarter. So, remember, this is a 5-year-old car. Pictures aren't very good. At the old house. And this car had just over 100,000 miles on it. So, 1971 Electra 225, 117,000 miles, 118,000 miles. So, a ton of miles, crazy amount of miles back then. So that's why it got wholesaled at the dealership. He bought this at the dealership he worked at for $350. With the non-highway title fee and sales tax, Dad says he just remembers it was a high mileage car. Doesn't remember much about it. He had a bunch of body work listed on it though too. You remember what was wrong with the body on it? Not far remembers watching them at the dealership. So September of 76, it was $362 out the door. And you've got, 118,000 miles on a 5-year-old car is a ton of miles. But you got to remember that's basically today saying you've got a 2020 with 100,000 miles on it, which is not uncommon at all. But at 118,000 miles on a 1976, a lot different story. All right, what did this thing need at 5 years old? Pinion seal, timing gear and chain, pack front wheel bearings, R&R brake pads, had to put a wheel cover on it, had to put an exhaust pipe on it, clean and detail, a bumper cap, body repairs, had 13 and a half hours in body repairs. So not sure what was wrong with it. I don't know if Dad remembers or not, but had 13 and a half hours in body repairs. John just got him a 61 DeSoto brochure. Awesome. Glad you found one, John. Yeah, it was only around for about a month. Rear brake shoes, rear shocks, front shocks, overhaul the starter, overhaul the alternator, heater hoses, turn the front rotors, mount and balance tires, replace a window switch, replace the seat switch, tune up, transmission service, repair cruise control, 3 light bulbs, repair electric seat, adjust windows, flush cooling system, adjust hood, tighten radio, adjust trunk, serviced it, and had to put an R&R the washer pump. So this is a 5-year-old car. There's Austin. So let's see what we've got here. We've got a ticket from Alco Discount Stores for some hoses. Two used tires, $15. Pinion seal, $2.37. Front pads, $6.58. Timing chain, $8.98. Timing gear, $4.06. Exhaust pipe, $11.28. Gallon of thinner, $2.44. One set of Raybestos, that must have been the brake shoes, $9.25. 1 quart of Ditzler. We still got a few things, Austin. We've sold some cool stuff. We still got a few more things to go. You're still in luck tonight. 1 quart of Ditzler, $5.75. Here's a ticket from Gibson's Discount Center for vinyl top cleaner. Check out this old ticket. Yeah. There you go, Joe. Getting really wound up. Vinyl top cleaner. Another ticket from Alco for oil filter and wiper blades and spark plugs. So, after all that work, body work, tune-up, pinion seal, timing gear and chain, front and rear brakes, shocks, bought it September 20th, sold it October 15th. So it was literally around not even quite a month. So, you think about that because Dad was still working on the line at the dealership. So this car was only there for 3 weeks. And on evenings and weekends, timing gear and chains, we had the front of the motor apart, all the shocks and brakes, pinion seal, 13 hours of body work, plus fix the cruise control, fix the power seat, put a power window switch in it, rebuilt the starter, rebuilt the alternator, did all that in 3 weeks. With the cost of the parts and the cost of the car of $362.50. And I'm not really sure what this was. Dirty's enjoying it, so yeah, he was. That's right. He wasn't asleep on the job. There's no doubt about that. So they paid $362.50 for it. With the parts, not counting labor, just what Dad paid for the parts, he had $498.75 in it. Now I don't know what this was, but Mom wrote down a phone call for $1. So I don't know how this must have been an important phone call. That right here at the bottom, where's it at? Mom's got a $1 tacked on here for a phone call. So it must have been a long distance phone call about something for somehow. And that put their total investment in the car at $499.75 hard money. So whatever that phone call was, it cost $1, and it must had something to do with the car. So he sold the car on October 15th, literally the day before my birthday, for $1,500. October 15th of 1976. So if he figured up his labor cost, if he would just have been paid at the dealership, he would have made $325.50 in labor. So, or actually, I think he figured it at internal rate. I don't even think that's what he was making. But got $1,500 out of him. So that car made good money in a month. You know, that was an extra month's worth of wages. That's probably more than a month's worth of wages in one shot, just like that in 3 weeks. So that was a pretty big stroke. So that this probably bought my second birthday present. It's probably what this car did. Whatever I got for my second birthday, I bet this car paid for it. Because he definitely literally sold it the day before my birthday. So whatever I got for my second birthday probably came out of that $1,500, whatever it was. I wonder if there's any other pictures of my second. I wonder if Mom's got pictures of my second birthday, so we can figure out what I got out of that $1,500. It's just kind of odd that was sold the day before my second birthday. So there you have the rest of the story on the 1971 Buick Electra 225. 5-year-old car, 118,000 miles, and needed a lot of work. Now, I didn't have a pep car, so now put that into perspective today of buying a 5-year-old used car. Dad said he thought he was making $5.50 an hour on the line turning wrenches. So that was a pretty big shot to make $1,000 in 3 weeks on one car. A lot of work, a lot of fast work, but that was a pretty big stroke. But there you have the rest of the story on the 71 Electra. But put that into perspective. Go buy something that's a 2020. I know you got to go into the motor, and you got to do all the brakes, all the shocks, leaking seals, fix the seat, washer pump don't work, window switch don't work on a 5-year-old 100,000-mile car today. Unheard of. Definitely a different time and a different place. But that's what makes this so much fun, is doing story time and checking out these old cars and seeing what Dad did to them back in the day. You guys are still having a lot of fun with that, and I sure enjoy it too. So I'm glad that's turned into a real fun segment. Okay, I just checked the Nobody's page once again. And the Camaro, the V6 is out of the Camaro. So you have a place to work out there, apparently, Copper Wire, if you're still on with us. Kevin loves it. Yeah, he cranked a lot of stuff out back then. There's no doubt about it. But that's how we got to where we're at today. Working in a single car garage with a small garden shed extended onto one end of it. Yeah, kind of crazy. Anyway, Austin's here, so we're going to sell some stuff. Right, Austin? You still want to buy some stuff? I tell you what, we saved a couple of best plates for the last tonight. Whalen Wire World Headquarters. Okay. That's what I was, is that some relation to you or just one of your dad's buddies? Whalen Wire World Headquarters, Whalen Wire on YouTube as well. So hopefully that engine swap goes well, and that thing's going to be running down the road here shortly. Let's have a Hudson badge for that. And let's sell a couple more cool pieces. Austin's ready to go. Dad did episode number 250, Scott. He did come down for episode number 250 that night and hung out. You bet, Copper Wire. Good luck with your project. Austin's back. Nut Farm's going to be out. I don't know. These couple plates we got left are really killer. We'll see what happens. We'll see how much more stuff we want to sell. I got a couple things already here on the desk, so we're definitely going to do that. This one not going quite back 100 years, but going back a long time, 92 years, and going up north to North Dakota. 1933 North Dakota. This thing looks amazing. The one show you missed, Scott, that's right. You can go back and catch it on YouTube. It's probably easier to find it on YouTube than it will be on Facebook, Scott, but it's on YouTube. Taming Pixies. Got to rewire the whole car. Taming Pixies and rewiring the whole car is pretty much 6 of one, half dozen of the other. 1933 North Dakota. Look at this thing. Green and white. This thing is 92 years old. We do have a little bit of paint loss up here, but look at the boldness of the green. Look at the back of this plate. This 1933, this is all embossed and stamped in there. You bet, Scott. So, what do you think of that, Austin? I told you we had some cool stuff coming up. This is kind of a different size. It is 13 by 5. So, great looking plate. I love the colors on this one. The ND, this is all embossed, all stamped in here. And we're ready to go on the timer. This came with that last big batch of plates I bought. 500 and some plates I bought about a month ago. So Gary at 2. Gary starting us off at 2. I'm sure surely that a 2 isn't going to hold on this one. But let's get things rolling on the 1933 North Dakota. $474 left. Great kitty. Great kitty. We're ticking away on the timer. Gary at $2. That's the only bid on this thing. Surely there's more interest in it than that. 30 seconds gone. Kevin at 10. Nut Farm 18. David W 20. Gary 19. David W at 20. 1 minute gone. 30 seconds left to go. There's Steve Reed. David W at 20. It's a great plate. We're ticking away. Kevin, 24. Few seconds left to go. Kevin at 24. Tony, 25. And that does it. Tony at 25. Got that in at 129. Tony misses sometimes, but he's gotten a couple of them tonight. How about a cap? Let's catch a regular cap. And then I got at least one more plate I want to do tonight, and it is old. It is crazy old. We did one of these a while back that was a little bit better than this. This is kind of one of the rougher ones, but still a great-looking cap, great-looking wall hanger. I did not repaint this yet. You could repaint it. You could leave it the way it is. This one's banged up. It's cracked. but you can still read the lettering on it. And the way the damage is on it, it just kind of tells its story on this old GMC cap. 40s era, it's banged up here pretty good. It's got some cracks out around the perimeter. Chrome still shines. I would probably repaint this one in a blue or a red to make the letters stand out, because the GMC is pretty decent across here. Copper wire at 20. Back as the metal base on it with a chrome overlaid cap on the 40s era GMC. And it is about 9 inches in diameter on this one. Just a cool look to it. There again, it tells its story, and we're on the timer. John said he must have been the one trying to put it back on. No, those plates are still on that Buick dispatch. 30 seconds gone. 1 minute to go. Copper wire at 20. One minute gone, 30 seconds left to go. Copper wire at 20, ticking away, coming out of the end of this one. Pete, 26. And that does it. Pete at 26. Yep, you did. I thought you had it. I did thought you had it, Copper wire. Hey, are you coming out with your dad to the gathering? Do we have you down on the list, or? So I know we've got your dad down, Copper wire. I didn't know if you were coming to the gathering or not. So I got one more plate laying here for sure. You guys want to do at least one more plate? Where's Austin at? Okay, do we have you down on the list, Copper wire? I don't remember. Because I just want to make sure we know who's in the slot, so we keep a close tab for lunch and things like that. So this one, okay, we don't have him down. Okay, so we do need to make sure we get you listed down on that as well. But your dad said after you guys get back, your dad said he's going to call me. We got to go through that list of stuff you guys have anyway, so we'll get that straightened out then. I'm just trying to keep my count straight so I know food and we know how many slots we have open and things like that. So, all right. We'll catch at least one more plate. Austin said he was here ready to go, so. Yeah, I told him we got you, John, so we should be good there. It's kind of odd. City's getting the loader out. Wonder why the city's getting the loader out at 10 o'clock on Sunday night. I can hear him backing it out across the street. That's weird. 101 years. This plate's 101 years old. Kind of crazy. Going up north again to our friends from Minnesota. Yep, no problem. Sounds good, Copper wire. Just thought I'd ask because I thought we just had your dad's name down. You guys have a busy week. When you guys get back, like I said, your dad's going to call me and go over your auction list anyway. and see where we're at on that versus the check he sent and stuff. So we'll get it straightened out when you guys get back. Just wanted to ask. 1924 Minnesota. It's crazy that this thing is 100 years old and looks like this. Thing's 100 years old. We got a little surface rust up here. Blue with a white background, 101 years old. Back still has good paint. White lettering still looks good. A little bit of surface rust down here on the 1924. So somebody else started at $24 because it's 1924, right? So who's $24? Let me give you the size on it because it's kind of an odd size. Oh, it's almost 15. Gary at 14. Almost 50. There's Tony at 24. I knew somebody would give us 24 to start it. By almost 5.5. Kevin at 24. I figure we can at least start it at 24. It's over 100 years old. Tony at 24. Kevin at 24. Let's get this thing rolling. There's Eric. We're live and on the timer, and away we go on this 100. John at 25 on this 101-year-old 1924 Minnesota plate. Martin's here. 30 seconds gone. 60 seconds left to go. John at 25. Martin, 26. One minute gone. 30 seconds left to go. Where's the snipers going to be at on this one? This is pretty cool. Over 100 years old and survived in this condition. This thing has been inside for decades and decades. Well preserved, out of the weather. Martin at 26. Coming down to the end. Is that going to get it done? We're about ready to wrap it up. Tony at 31, right? Tony got that in as it changed to 130. I wouldn't shoot that any closer, Tony, because you had a half second and that wouldn't have made it. But you got it done that time by that much. Holy cow. John 32. I would back up a second or two, Tony. That was as close as you could have cut it and still gotten it in. All right, we want to do one more piece yet tonight, guys? What do you think? This one's kind of tough. This one's banged up a little bit, but you don't see these very often. We've only sold one or two for this company. Matt says one more. Let's do another grease cap. This one's definitely rougher than the last one, but we can still see the name, but we don't see these very often. We've done one or two. From International. Now, this one's banged up, but the triple diamond is still very visible. So not as clean as the Chevrolet. Obviously, we can sure see some damage around the outside perimeter over here, but we can still make out this triple diamond and all the lettering on this International cap. I don't know if Internationals just didn't survive that much or what happened, but out of all the grease caps we've had, we've only had a few extras. This one, kind of a tall one. We see the hex all the way around the top. That's what I was thinking. It was probably 6-speed special era. 2 3/4. and about 2 1/8 across the hex. You never received what, Eric? What was that? And about 2 3/4 tall. So, like I said, it's banged up a little bit, but the International is still clear and easy to read on this one. Which ones? What did you have hanging? Let me see here real quick. Oh, because that stuff just shipped this week. Yeah, that stuff just shipped this week because it. You had one old one and you had one thing that I was waiting on you to pay, and once that I think you paid that at the end of last week, so they just went out this week. So anyway, back to the International grease cap. What do you guys think on that one? Is it too rough for you guys, or what? Or where are we at on this one? Is there any interest in it, or does it go back in the box? So yeah, you should see them this week, Eric. But yeah, and like we've talked about, sometimes if you just have one small $10 or $15 piece, I wait till you get something else to go with it, because it's $6 or $8 to ship a $12 piece. That doesn't work. So I waited till you had a couple things to get going on that. So, but yeah, we're good and it's on the way. So we got Pete at 5, Eric at 10, and Copper Wire at 10. So let's get this thing on the timer. And away we go. We're hung up at 10, but I don't think that's probably going to do it anyway. That's all right. You can send me another one, Nut Farm. I know you're good for it. Or you can wait till next week. We're hung up at 10. Copper Wire at 15. $30 seconds gone. 1 minute left to go. Coming up on the 1 minute mark. What's the Nut Farm going to do? We're going to find out in 30 seconds, because 1 minute is gone. 30 seconds left to go. Copper Wire at 15. Coming down to the end. Copper Wire at 15. And that does it. Copper Wire got it done at 15. We'll put that in there with his bow tie emblem. Yeah, Copper Wire was getting pretty worried. I didn't realize Nut Farm already had that one, so you got lucky on that one. Scott is multitasking, watching me live and watching number 250 with Dad at the same time. Anyway, another thing we forgot to mention earlier about the gathering. I talked to my buddy Mark today, and he is ready to smoke up some killer stuff for us. So talked to him for a while, told him everybody's getting excited, and told him that everybody is definitely ready for lunch. I think half you guys are just coming back for lunch, right? Yeah. Yep. That was a pretty tasty lunch. I have to agree. And obviously Pete agrees as well. Yeah, I know you got to get home off the road long enough to get something done, Brett. But so I told him, I said, I think that's why half these guys are coming back is for the brisket. But I don't know if he's going to do a brisket this year or what he's going to do. But yeah, that's true, Joe. Maybe next year. And I understand that, that it just doesn't work. I mean, I can't believe the guys, all you do that do make it. I'm very flattered that you guys do take time out of your schedule to come out here and hang out and be part of what this is really turning into, which is an amazing group. So definitely looking forward to all of that, and it's going to be fun. But like I said, I had a great conversation with Mark today, and super excited to see what, like I said, I don't know if he's going to do brisket or pork or what he'll do, but he's going to come up with some really awesome smoked meat like we had last year for lunch. So it definitely excited about that, and I'm glad that you guys are as well. Oh, and the beans too. Yeah. Who wants to meet me, then leave. But yeah, the beans were great too. It was amazing what Mark did for us at lunch. And that's why we're charging something this year to make sure we cover his expenses, because he didn't ask for anything last year. I know we passed the hat for him Sunday morning to cover his expenses, but that's what your ticket price is going for, is to cover his expenses. So it was super great of him to do that for us. He's a great friend and awesome, because that was a pretty darn tasty lunch. Now, hopefully this year we are going to have a little more room, because we're not all in the main shop with the fireplace going because it's snowing out. I can't believe that last year that it was 40 with flurries on Saturday and 75 and sunny on Friday and 75 and sunny on Sunday. But we made it work. We got through it. Everybody had a great time. So Brett's got to be in Washington State that week. Wow, that's a lot of boogieing. I don't know if Pappy's still on here or not. I hope he heard me mention to call me this week, and we'll see what we can figure out on some, if he wants to run some of this stuff for us. Whatever we got to do, Brett, we'll figure it out. But anyway, looking forward to it. Just over a month out. I need to talk to Ryan at the brewery, make sure we can get the trivia done, and find out what we can do to try to make the trivia interactive with you guys that can't make it that night. So I need to get to work on that and figure out what we can do that night. Let me think about that. Maybe we can do, last year we did a live Friday night, which I'm sure we'll do that again from the brewery. And I want to include as many of you guys as I can. Even if you can't physically be there, I definitely want to include as many of you as we can. So we will have, we'll do a live Friday night, and we'll see what we can do interactive on the trivia. And we may, maybe we can do some live stuff Saturday night as well. And we'll probably try to jump on from the yard Saturday as well. So obviously, you guys are here, you're hanging out, you're supporting what we do, and it's super exciting. So definitely looking forward to that. Oh, one more thing. I almost forgot the raffle. Who's in? We had a couple guys get in this week. I want to catch that real quick before we bail off, because we're getting short on time. John Sanderson, Kevin L., and Tim B. all in for this week on the raffle. 2 weeks we're giving this stuff away. The super killer Structo ramp truck that almost looks Newell stock. As well as a Redline Diora in teal. Great looking Redline from 1967, the Diora in teal. So somebody asked about that earlier, and I spaced it off and didn't get to it. So anyway, what's coming up next week? We will do Toy Tuesday live as normal. Well, I shouldn't say that. Joe will be accepting all raffle prizes for Pete this month. Tuesday. I don't know if I'm going to be here. I may be out of town. I will put a post up if I'm not here. May try to possibly run to Pioneer Village. Not sure if it's going to work out. So then I will get a post up Tuesday if or maybe I'll do something from on the road if I'm not here. So Tuesday's going to be up in the air. Oh, you are moving, Brett. Are you moving to Missouri? I know that's where you were wanting to head. So now this week, what's coming up? We'll have the video from the Wichita Swap Meet. That members got that last week, and I also got some new inventory with some truck cabs and stuff coming up next week on the videos. So anyway, Tuesday is up in the air. We'll see how things go. And actually, I've got this week's kind of screwed up with spring break. There's a lot of stuff going on. And moving to Arizona. You're going the other way. So I will get some posts up. I forgot about that. There's even a possibility I may be gone next weekend to go pick up a load of parts. So regardless, I will get posts up. Stay tuned to the posts both Tuesday and Sunday as far as what's going on. And I may be able to jump on from the road. It just depends on one. None of these trips are locked in yet. There's still a lot of things up in the air for this week. So we'll see how things go. But anyway, thanks for being here tonight, guys. Had a great time. Glad you guys were able to spend your Sunday evening with us as well. Stay tuned to the Nobody's page. Copper Wire, Balin Wire are going to keep us up to date on their mega trip heading back from the north, way up northwest, heading back to Missouri. So stay tuned to the Nobody's page. Stay tuned to Balin Wire's Old Iron to see what those knuckleheads are up against, because it sounds like it may be a crazy week for those guys. So you definitely got a big day ahead, and definitely keep us updated. We will be watching. Roger, glad you enjoyed it. See you next time. Was this your first time, Roger? Because you were from down under, right? So it's tomorrow there, right? But is this your first time that you've been with us? Hey, anytime, Joe. That's what we're here for. We're having a great time. That's all that matters. 2,500 miles to go for Copper Wire and Balin Wire. Thanks, Kenny. I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks, John. Yeah, always going somewhere, it seems like. V8 emblems for 57 Chevy truck. Do not have anything there, William. So it's going to be a crazy busy week. We'll see what does or doesn't happen. Like I said, please stay tuned for the posts, and I will try to keep you guys updated as to what I've got going on this week. So anyhow, keep an eye on comments here for just a few more seconds. Make sure we don't have anything hanging in there that we need to catch. Glad you enjoyed it, Roger. Roger Charles Newton, thanks for stopping by, and definitely hope to see you again next week, hopefully, if this all works out. This week's kind of a mess. So we'll see how it goes. Thanks, Kevin, for the Johnny Carson comments. I super appreciate that. It still floors me that you guys even consider what we do here to be of any sort of quality. I like that. Okay, I see, Brett. I guess that makes sense. That you even consider that this is definitely a quality deal. Okay, Roger, well, I'm glad you were here anyway. So I see. So you're both going different ways. Anyway, I guess that does it for tonight. We'll see how this week goes for me, because I really don't know at this point. But I will keep you updated through posts. In theory, we're going to see you in some way, shape, or form for a while Tuesday night, and hopefully in some way, shape, or form next Sunday night. I just don't know what that looks like at this point. Anyway, I'm going to hopefully pick up some cars this week. I got some killer Chryslers coming in I'm going to try to go after and try to get some other work done. Finally made a little headway in the yard this week now that it's starting to dry out and I can get around with the loader. And well, we got a small catastrophe over here. The food bowls are empty. Heaven forbid. So, anyhow, thanks for being here tonight, everybody. Thanks for making this what it is. Thanks for episode number 254. Looking forward to the gathering, April 26th. Can't wait to see you guys out here. Yeah, there's a situation over there. You know, there was still a little food in them when I got here, but now they're empty, so it's a situation. Because, you know, it's been like 20 minutes since they've had any food. Because, you know, they're about to waste away. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you being here. Had a great time with you tonight. We'll see you in some way, shape, or form this week. Maybe on Tuesday, maybe on Sunday. I have no clue. But regardless, have a great week, everybody, and we will see you soon, hopefully next Sunday night at the latest. Thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great week.